Every business has only 7 reasons to spend money. I call them the 7 buckets. Hi, my name is John Cipher, and I've owned companies all my adult life. Started some, bought some, sold some, and for the last 20 years I've helped other business owners learn from my mistakes at ceobootcamp.com. I'm making this video to share the lens through which I view a company because they all have similar characteristics and they all scale in predictable ways. So strap in and let's get started. On day 1 of your company, you probably feel like this. Day 1 can be the day that you buy a company and take over. Day 1 can be the day that you start a company. It can also be the day maybe you've been running this company for 20 years, but one day you wake up and you go, you know what? Something's got to change. There must be something better. And you feel overwhelmed with all the hats, all the different roles that you're required to play, all the things that are resting on your shoulder. Well, this video is designed to give you a way to organize your hats. This is how I look at a company because, like I said, they can be organized in very similar ways. Most people, when they think of a company, they think of the org chart, the people. The people have job titles, people have hierarchies, who's reporting to who, etc. I'm going to suggest that that's not the best way to organize your thinking about your company. If you step back and think, why would you even hire somebody? This will give you a clearer vision. The reason that you hire somebody is for them to produce something, an output, a result, a deliverable. You want people to do stuff in your company, and that's why you hire them. And where does this output come from? Well, it comes from people who have wisdom and experience and intuition, who have the ability to make something. One example of this is a grandmother who is a really good cook but doesn't follow a recipe. She just knows from experience and intuition how much of this, when to put that, what temperature this should be. You can build a company with outputs generated from people like that, but it's often hard to find people like that at any sizable scale. So the other place that output comes from is systems. These are the recipes, taking this intuition, this experience, this wisdom, and putting it into processes that you can train people and you can repeat and scale the outputs that you need. And if you think about it, as a company grows and as a company scales, many of these systems break into subsystems that feed into each other. For example, at the beginning, you may do all the selling yourself, but at some point you want a marketing team to develop leads, and the leads become the input to the sales process. And the sales process, depending on how your customers buy, you may have to do quotes or you may have to do proposals, and that becomes the input to another system of following up and closing the deals. And so all these systems can break down into subsystems, and that's where it can be overwhelming. It can seem like your company just has dozens and dozens and dozens of these things, and those are the multiple hats. This is why thinking about the ultimate output of each of these systems can be useful. And those ultimate outputs fall into one of 7 what I call buckets. The first bucket is every company needs to make something that customers want to pay for. This could be a product, it could be a service, it could be some other way of producing value that customers pay for. Then, of course, you have to find those customers and sell to them. This is all the systems around marketing and sales and closing deals. And ultimately, if you don't find and sell to people, even if you make wonderful stuff, nobody's going to buy it and you won't have a company. But then as these systems grow, there's a lot of support work that needs to happen to keep the making and the selling operational. You have to collect money, you have to pay the bills. These support systems break down into these 4 buckets. One is the people, the HR stuff. You're hiring people, you're training people, you're managing people. The other is the money. You have to collect the money, pay the bills, and understand what the money is telling you about your business. This is the financial analysis piece. Then there's information. Information is rampant within every company, but if people can't find it, the company can't operate very well. So you need information, you need processes to make decisions from that information and make that information available to people. And then there's a whole nother bucket I call CAFE. CAFE stands for compliance, administrative, facilities, and etc. It's a bunch of things that typically are not focused on until there's a problem. My suggestion is that you look at these on a regular basis to ensure that there won't be a problem. Things like compliance, administrative support, facilities. Do you have the legal support that you need? Do you have the insurance and continuity to protect the company in case of a disaster? Is there IT support for everybody? And is there a communication process within the company that's efficient and effective? So these buckets are what keep a company going. And as I said, these are the reasons that you spend money, or these are the reasons that you hire people to do work. And these all work in support of another bucket called the grow bucket, which is to make your company grow. These are the systems and outputs that do things like define strategy, define plans, set goals, measure KPIs. And these grow buckets systems are usually produced by the CEO. And I put the CEO here as a conductor because the conductor of an orchestra doesn't make any of the music that the audience came to hear. And likewise, in a company, the CEO is not making product. They are not selling. They are not paying the bills. They are coordinating all the people that do all that. Now, in a smaller company, and by small I mean under a couple hundred people usually, the person whose title is CEO may do some of those things. But when they do that, they are functioning in a different capacity than their capacity as CEO. And so the CEO function works to coordinate all these other buckets. These are a great way to organize your thinking about what's going on in your company. But wait, there's one more bucket, and that is profit to the owners. This is the 8th bucket, and it's probably why you're here. But the reason I call this the 7 buckets is because the 8th bucket is outside the company, and it only gets full when you do the others well. So what I mean by it's outside the company is, graphically, it could look like this. Your company is doing all that other stuff and producing a profit. Every company is designed to produce a profit. But with SMB companies, SMB stands for small and medium businesses that are privately held, there's something else. The owner of an SMB gets more than money. Usually there's another motivation to run a company like this. Maybe you want the freedom that it gives you. Maybe you want to leave a legacy. Maybe you want to have the company provide for you to travel or to be famous or to do any number of things. I've collected about 24 things that business owners have told me they want from their company, and money is only a part of that. That's the good news about running an SMB company, is that you can get the money and some of these other things that you want for your life. So here's how this all fits together. Customers put money into the company, they get something of value out of it, and the company spends money in these 7 buckets. If they do it well, money comes out as profit to the owners, as well as some of the other things that owners can get from running a company. So I hope this video has helped you understand all the things that go on in your company and maybe give you some clarity about which hat you're wearing at which time. If you'd like a copy of this deck, feel free to email me, john@ceobootcamp.com. Just tell me which deck it is that you're wanting, because I do so many of these. And also, if you think I might be able to help you with your company, email me. We'll talk and see if it looks like we can work together and if I have a slot open for you.